Hi everyone, I just wanted to give a brief note before we start this week's video. Obviously the last couple of weeks' videos have been pre-recorded, as is this one. In the coming weeks they're going to be coming from my kitchen because I'm currently self-isolating, just to make sure that if anybody in the team gets sick I can go and pick up the roasting. Just let you know what we're doing. We are operating as normal, but we've split the teams into two so we can increase social distancing, and also if one person goes off sick we can kind of bring in the other team. So we're kind of really practicing everything that we can to keep everybody fit and healthy. And I hope you're all fit and healthy at home. Sending you my warmest wishes. Please keep social distancing, stay at home if you can, because remember, life is too short for not social distancing.
There's a small place in Brazil that's called Little England. This week we're off to Fazenda, Inglaterra. So this week we're off to Minas Gerais and the small town of Poços de Caldas, which is on the border of Minas and Sao Paulo state. This farm is a tiny little farm compared to every other farm in Brazil. Most of them go on for hundreds of hectares. This is much smaller, but it's owned by my good friend Stephen Hurst. Stephen is a coffee importer in the UK and has been my friend since 2003 and produces this amazing coffee. Now, I'm going to address a couple of things about this one that I've had in emails before, or I've seen in comments where people say, oh, you're just buying coffee from your mate because it's okay. I don't buy coffee from anybody who doesn't produce quality coffee. So this coffee stands on its own. And the reason that he really is a good friend is that I've worked really hard on it so I can make sure I get this coffee. The farm is incredibly small, which means that it's also incredibly manicured. It means that the fertilizer can be spread very easily because there's a small team that are making sure that everything gets done that it needs to be done there. They planted a whole heap of forests on the farm, so the wildlife on that farm can kind of have a habitat to live in. Now, I know that that's not perfect. You know, we would much prefer the normal trees to be there, but Stephen bought this farm as farmland and then decided to add the trees to the farm. So this is something that is at least what I feel a good step forward. The varietal is something that I've only ever seen in Minas Gerais. It's not common, but when I have tasted it, it's amazing. It's called Canario. It's a mutation of Bourbon. And it tends to have all of those good properties of Bourbon. So sweet, balanced, a delicate, light acidity. But it has a little bit more sweetness and a little bit more body and a little bit more acidity. So it's just like a kind of magnified version of the Bourbon. And every farm I've tried Canario from that has Bourbon, and I cut them side by side, I always feel like the Canario is just a little more and a little better. And I hope you think so too. Somebody who isn't a little better is Roland, and it's time for his daft fact of the week. So here we find Roland in his natural habitat, but not roasting, but just standing here. Roland, are you prepared for a daft fact?
I'm prepared, Steve. Did you know that Brazil once tried to sell an aircraft carrier on eBay? And that was the aircraft carrier was called Minas Gerais.
Which is where Inglaterra's from. But how much did it sell for, Roland?
It didn't sell, Steve.
Sad times. Okay, so this week's In My Mug Instagrammer of the week comes from Bevan Electrical. I like to think that they're there for all of our electrical needs. But they're also there for our In My Mug needs, and they've posted up their picture of their In My Mug bag on Instagram. So thank you very much for that. Love and respect coming your way. But let's get into the Inglaterra. I believe this mug was something that I spent an awful lot of money on so Dale could compete in a barista competition once and then didn't use them. Yeah, that's bringing back a flashback. but so is the coffee. So Brazil coffee tends to be a little bit on the safe side. Whereas actually I think the Canario varietal, as I talked about earlier, just has a little bit more to it. This, you really get the apricot come through. Really is quite predominant there, the apricot. There's a lot of dark chocolate going on in there as well. A little bit of like a nuttiness, and I kind of want to say pecan. Whereas I know with the Bourbon, I normally see it much more as a walnut, but this definitely has a little bit more sweetness to it. And it's a really, really good Brazil. I hope you're enjoying it at home. Thank you very much for joining me as always. And do remember, life is too short for bad coffee.